All right, everyone. This is Last Borough Standing. Irene here, speaking with Ron inside of Frank's Sporting Goods in the Tremont section of the Bronx. So, Ron, tell me a little, well, for
Good
anyone
morning.
watching,
Yeah.
if they were to come to the Bronx for the first time and see Frank's Sporting Goods, what can they find in here?
You could find everything and then additional to that more. Okay.
Cool.
It's an icon of the Bronx. We've been here 103 years.
So, 103 years is a long time. That's actually historical. Do you want to tell everyone, like, how Frank's Sporting Goods started?
It started in 1921, my grandfather, on the Bowery. It was there for 2 or 3 years. Then he moved up here to his current location, so it's probably been here 98, 99 years. There used to be 6 similar stores, probably within 2 or 3 blocks from here. And he used to say when he first came, they threw a rock through the window. I said, go back to the Bowery. Over the years, every one of these went out. Maybe there's more than 6, actually. It's the last one standing. Hopefully it's attributable to a few things, that we treat people right, we have the right product for them. We give back to the community. And if you come in today, you'll hear, 2 out of 3 customers will make a comment. This is I bought my first glove. My grandfather took me here. I can't believe he's still here. Actually, the nice thing is when they thank you for still being here as a, independent store. That's probably the greatest compliment someone can give you.
So seeing that Frank's has been a fixture in the Bronx community for many, many years, you mentioned 103 years, right?
Correct.
Can you share a little bit about the store's history and its relationship
Sure.
with the Bronx?
So my grandfather came from Russia.
Uh-huh.
He was a teenager. He started the store probably in his early 20s. For 3 years, it was located on the Bowery. Then he moved up to the Bronx. We're here, it's been about 99 years. When he moved up here, he told me there was 6 or 7 competitors. And as years went on, they went out of business. He said every one of them, wished him the worst. When he first came, they threw a brick through his window, go back to the Bowery. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a testament that this business is still here. We appreciate the community appreciates us. As it's changed, we've changed somewhat, but basically it's always the same. It's providing quality products at the correct price and being fair and respecting the people you're dealing with. No, it's really incredible. Most people come in, more than half will tell a story, when they come in, whoever they're with. I came here with my dad, my grandfather, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then the best compliment, which is very often, at least one or two of those, thank us for being here, which is I'm thanking me, I should be thanking the customers. And they go, no, you're one of the few independents. It's just so nice that, someone is still here in the community. They didn't either leave the community or close up or get run out by somebody else. So that really makes one feel good.
Yeah. That's a good thing, like to have a generational staple and touch so many people, like knowing that their parents brought them here.
Correct. It's
That's different.
It's a unique connection of people. It's just like another thing. It's like, if 2 people went, my parents are from Greece or whatever. It's like, you're from, whatever. It's just something. So when they come in with someone, they'll bond, one customer to another customer, will say something. Yeah, I remember when I was living, yada. They go back and forth. And
yeah.
They will ask about certain people.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you said other stores have you guys have what's the word that I'm looking for? You guys have been
test of time.
Test of time. Other competitors closed up, but you guys remained the last one standing. Right. So what sets this sporting store apart from other sporting stores in the terms of catering to any of your clients or sports enthusiasts?
Well, I think it's a number of things. First of all, there's always someone family here. Mm-hmm. I'm here, still 70, 80 hours a week. My father before him was the same. My grandfather before him was the same. So they know there's people here. Most people have worked here 20, 30 years. So when you come in, there's somebody there. And if you come back the next week, you can still speak to the same person. If you have an issue, there's someone to go to. It's not like the manager's not who's, something weird. Or it's,
people.
It's corp or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you also I spent a lot of time in my youth going to the fields, mm-hmm. and every I'll call them
That's
back.
Right.
Okay. So from the time I was 15 or whatever, I used to go out to the fields and be at Harlem, the Bronx, we were playing football, baseball. Mm-hmm. Just reach out to people. And then the cadet corps also we've done a lot with, used to be 20 for cadet corps. I don't know how many there are left, but I'll still go to time to Harlem United Cadet Corps or whatever they are. And so they have a face with it. So later on, I'll ask them what we can do to make things easier. And they also know that someone's cares, someone's willing to go there. I mean, go places no one else goes. I've also got on planes and delivered stuff to, to professional teams when there was an issue.
That's
And years later, people
dedication.
come back, and people later will call back. I remember them. You're the one who came to, my Guay and delivered the uniforms for something, yada yada. So, that's a huge portion of it. It's the reputation of the store, and I like to think myself.
Yeah. Do you have any like memorable moments? You mentioned like getting on a plane to deliver sports
There's
goods.
1,000. I mean, everyone from the customers who come in here. Fat Joe's been coming here since he was a kid. Was it Montana?
Yeah.
Rapper comes in here. There's a lot of TV guys who come in here. We were one of the first ones in the Continental 48 who had Canada Goose before it was anything. Actually, the only ones we used to sell it to were TV producers, like Barry Levinson did that, and actors and then stuntmen. I forgot who was the one. Snipes. One that bought it for like the whole cast and things like that. Then, we also, we sell 29 or 30 major league teams, so people see me on the field, the package going in and out. Half the Yankees have passed through here at different times.
I believe that.
Instead of gone on a plane to deliver pants, was an issue with the team in Puerto Rico. And said, need some that day. So I said, hold on a second, Candy. I said, you have somebody meet me at the airport? He goes, why? I go, I'll be there in 5 hours.
And you flew to Puerto Rico?
Flew to Puerto Rico with a new set of uniforms for them.
Wow.
For that.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of good players, done some charity. I mean, the record is Cano spent like $180,000 in charity when he first got his big contract. And he probably ended up getting $300,000, so we sort of matched it to a lot of stuff with it.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan comes in once in a while. I mean, there's just... And then you have average guys who are just, people since they were 5 years old. Yeah, as cool as anybody else. It doesn't mean...
Yep.
Because he's on TV that they're any better or anything. It's just, others people like to say... Right.
Yeah.
We were open during the pandemic for the sake that we deal with, the city agencies and, and everyone from, MTA to
all the
PD,
first responders.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we supply stuff to a lot of hospitals and stuff when they couldn't get it. It's a range of things, whatever sort of needs to be done or that looks good.
Yeah.
And what different? We don't follow trends or fads. I mean, something gets hot today. I mean, I don't know people's age. I mean, there was like Troop sneakers. It was, I don't know. There's so many of these brands that come and go. Fat Farm and all these others. We carry more about the quality of the brand. It's got to stand alone, whether it's hot or not hot. Even brands like Timberland had its ups and downs. I mean, now Carhartt on the vest and everything. But I mean, we've carried them all for 50 years, and most of the companies that we deal with, the ones who actually opened us up were the owners of the companies. Timberland was the owner of the company who came in to open it up. Under Armour was Kevin Plank, and his source, dealt with him. I can still reach out to him. It's great. I mean, there's not one company. Nike, my father did, and didn't even know what name Nike in those days in the early 70s. I mean, so there's all iconic companies.
Okay.
And to us, that's important. It's the quality and what it stands for. I don't care if it's in vogue that day or that week.
Yeah.
And if it falls apart, it's not worth it. It's overpriced because of a name. We don't carry it.
So tying into that, with the rise of like online shopping, how does Frank Sporting Goods maintain its relevance and appeal to such a diverse client?
Well, the key, as you said, is it's a diverse client. So that means you have a lot of different categories, a lot of different products, and everything else. Now everybody gets affected by online shopping. We have our own site, and it's coming more and more. It's franksports.com, 2 S in the middle, 1 at the end, franksports.com. But the biggest difference is here, even if someone could order online and get it the next day, first of all, half the things you get online, it's wrong.
They don't fit.
So you have to go back.
Issues, yeah.
So the difference between us and almost every other brick and mortar store, or most brick and mortars, is the depth and breadth of goods that we have. So in a lot of places, you have to go in and order it. With us, the odds are that you're going to get it. So a guy orders a pair of pants online, right? Here, I probably have every waist and length there is, or at least that's made in most of the common ones. So it's really the same thing if you need instant gratification or you need the same
so you need
day.
it right away.
Right, so you could actually get it by going to the store. Now, if you have an issue also, whether you either try it on there or you bring it back and get it the next day, so it's no different than going online and ordering now. Obviously, if you're at a distance, we do ship all over the world.
Yep.
Then yes, that comes into play, and those people will order online from us. A lot of ours, not even online, it's like just knowing us from the past. So we get a lot of referrals from, let's say, coaches or players who've played in New York and now somewhere else in the world.
Yeah.
So we ship all over. We have unique products also. We're the owners of like for Major League Baseball, we supply, mud on the field, rock rods and sliding mats. And, when they couldn't be produced, we'll go to the manufacturer. So we, do our own pine tar here, we do our own sliding mats, we do our own rock rods because they were no longer available in the market. So if something can't be had, we'll go and source it ourselves.
That's dope. Can you share any stories or memories of how Frank's Sporting Goods made any type of positive impact on individuals or families in the Bronx through sports and fitness? Any one or two that you want to share that you could think of?
Well, we talk about in the community, so people familiar with Harlem RBI, we've done with them since basically day one. And I still remember, this is when they didn't even have a field, they didn't have anything. So they were on one of the stations, the Fan or something. I don't even know if they still exist, the sports stations. And one of my guys who was doing the printing said he heard that they were on, they didn't have any balls for the games or whatever it is. So I said, tell him to call the guy up and tell him to come by. So it was Pete James. He used to be assistant GM with the Yankees years and years ago before the current director, Rich Berlin. So he comes by and he tells me, yeah, whatever you could do, we deal with this one place and we owe them some money. They don't give us anything until we pay them everything. I said, all right. So I said, well, what do you need? So he gave him a couple dozen balls for the girls.
Oh, dope.
Right. I said, that's nice. And later on, then we did more and more for them. Developed a relationship with them. And it became, usually now they have 2 schools and everything else. We've worked with a lot of the different charities, I don't know, Posada's charity used to do. I used to do Jeter's charity. Jeter's mom and dad used to come in all the time. When they get to a certain level that they don't need me,
they just forget it.
No, not so much them. It's like me. It's like, you know what? At this point, I'm not going to make an impact. I'll go to the next one. That they've already established themselves. They don't need whatever we contribute. They're hitting up the corporates and everyone else. So I like to find sort of the next lower level one.
And just kind of help.
Yeah, and build them up. It's like, it's like how, a lot of manufacturers see us in that aspect. It's not that we're going to sell 100 million, but we give credibility to the product. So when they want to say something, if you come in here and you see 12 boxes going to 12 different teams, and they ask what's in, I tell them this, this, and this. Yeah. The product is probably good enough for someone who's playing high school ball, let's say.
Okay.
With the local ones, we do stuff, local fields, field mark, whatever it is in moderation. Listen, we're not an open thing that everyone comes in for donations. I need to know who they are. And, if there's a relationship, obviously, we're going to reach out to them first.
Yeah.
But, when we can, we help out as it comes around. And, I care more about the end user, so it's the children. That's what's someone's doing it.
So it kind of goes in hand in hand with community service or giving back.
And who, sort of who's going out of, if someone's going out of their way, you do extra. So, like when I do stuff with professional players, I'll always ask the lowest guy in the locker room, who's this guy? Does he tip? He doesn't tip. And when I'm in DR2, I'll find out. So if one of those guys asks me for something, I'll give them additional stuff. Like, here's some more stuff for here's enough for charity. Yeah. And we've done a lot of players' charities.
Okay.
Now, if they tell me that the guy is a dink, dude, you better give me a credit card up front because I'm not chasing money, because we have chasing money from professional players.
What? Yeah. That's wild. Yeah. I would have never thought.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. I guess it doesn't matter professional or not, huh?
People are people.
Yeah.
So you always check, not with the high, you check with the lowest one. 1 second, I apologize.
No, that's good. Oh, the Bronx has undergone significant changes over the years, gentrification kind of being one of them. So what's your point of view on gentrification overall? Because there are pros and cons to it.
When people speak of gentrification, it's an interesting thing. So obviously, initially, everyone likes it's beneficial to everyone. I don't care who you are, right? Because everything is neglected, now you're getting things brought in.
Yeah.
It's like anything else is a tipping point. So then at some point, the benefits that whoever you want to consider the lower economic, the ones who were there longer or whatever it is, who we sort of, the only benefit they were getting is that they were paying, let's say, cheaper rent. Now that gets pushed up, and sometimes they get pushed out. So it's sort of got to be kept in scale, because without gentrification, nobody wants to live in the worst place in the world, right? Because we have a great rent rate, you have a great rent.
Yeah.
You've got a rat in the building. There's no grocery store near you. There's no transportation or anything else. So gentrification is good. It's only gentrification becomes a problem when it's more on a speculative than people who actually gentrification. If somebody goes and moves there and actually becomes a part of the community, there's nothing wrong with that. Now gentrification, when you get speculators who buy up 12 buildings, redo them all, and try to increase the rent 4 times, and now you're taking residences where people can actually live and make it, reduce them. That doesn't help the neighborhood that you came into, right? that's just sort of being a pariah to the neighborhood.
Right. Has this business in particular felt any of the impacts of that, like pros and cons in terms of competition or maybe like clients?
This particular area is really not gentrified in any manner. But what I think myself and almost any business in anywhere in the Bronx probably felt some benefit is that when there's construction done, so that's bringing laborers into work.
Yeah.
So people who work need clothes. People who work, assuming they're from the neighborhood, now have income. But in terms of now saying that, the 50 cent or, the dollar coffee is now only $5. No, it really hasn't been felt here, which I think is good for everyone. I mean, I'm not a big fan of any of these chains and anything else. I'd rather have someone, like I said, whether it's they come to me or I go to somebody else, I want to go there the next day and be able to speak to somebody. It's like, nope, nobody has any skin in the game, so to speak, when it's all corporate. And you pay you pay a premium. They drive everybody else out, and now they're the only game in town. They raise the prices.
Yeah. Have you seen any maybe clientele that's been in this neighborhood or in the Bronx that probably got pushed out because of gentrification, or they still come back?
I still think that anyone who's left, at least the customers who come to us, have left for different reasons. Probably the most common reason, to be honest with you, is it's not so much. It's more like, they want space. They want, they're tired of the city.
Different scenery.
So I don't know how much it is. You could say, be it the Bronx, or if it was in Brooklyn, or if it was in some other inner city or bigger city where it's just masses of humanity. Now, listen, obviously some move, listen, if all of a sudden you did really well and you live in an apartment, you want a house, you have to move out of any city.
Yeah.
Right? Second, but how many move out because they were pushed out and now looking for a similar type of residence? I haven't seen that. Now I'm sure there's in one or two little areas, but no, it's just become, and I don't think it's different anywhere in the city. For the more affluent or the poorer, I mean, rents are ridiculous in the city, and it doesn't matter if you're making, $30,000 a year, $100,000, even $500,000 a year. Because don't forget, the guy that's $500,000 a year was probably paying,
more of tax.
$10,000. No, he's paying $10,000 in income. Now, for everyone else, it's not my problem. But now he gets a bill for $50. It means something to him too. Granted, we should have those problems, but you understand that everyone is affected by it. But obviously, on the lower scale more. So that's universal. That's an issue in this city. But I don't think particularly that, at least in this neighborhood, that there's been a huge outflux of people who've been forced out because of rent.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it doesn't happen in other parts, maybe near 138th Street, where it's more than Manhattan. I'm sure their rents must have tripled. Yes, so no question. Yeah. But I don't think here.
Not this area, at least.
No, I don't think anywhere here. I don't think Fordham. I don't think
You don't think it's going to happen anytime soon? Or you think it's going to take a little longer for this area to kind of see the changes that the South Bronx is seeing?
I'm 62. I've been here.
You've been here for a minute.
Years.
So what you think?
I was 5 years old. They said that the last 40 years. Since the Bronx was burning and everything else. Listen, things take a lot longer than you think. You could do little areas. It's usually the adjacent areas. So like 138th, as I said, is a perfect example because you could walk across the bridge. Yeah,
right? It's closer to proximity to Manhattan, the waterfront.
So it's easier.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you went north or you went east.
I'm from the North Bronx, so
what's up in there? What are you going to expand? Pelham South.
Fixing up the highways, the parks, little things.
Maybe if you would say, some areas, maybe, I think it's like, the areas closer to the bridge, like, on the Sound. Maybe that area too is kind of a little more gentrified. But again, that's because of limited stock, and it's easier because it's a separate area. Yeah. And then people could sort of say they're on the water. It's a different reason. But I think if you go in most areas, it's not going to change dramatically unless you have that really physical connection. That's the proximity to Manhattan, or I'm not even sure. Or maybe actually the Heights, maybe because it's the same idea. Yeah, you can sort of get out or be on the highway. If you're near the hospitals in downtown, that's an easier little thing.
Yeah. How does your business remain accessible and affordable to members of the community, given that so many things are expensive right now?
Things are expensive, but the biggest increase, I think everyone will agree, is actually it's housing and then food. Actually, clothing has probably declined in price. And the only difference is it's the brands that people know. So everybody wants to wear, Montclair or Canada Goose, whatever it is. So before, when they were happy with a Columbia or a North Face, whatever the price of jack was, $200, $300, $400. Looking at some of the $1,500. It's not that it's more expensive. You're looking at a different tier of product. Listen, if you have a car and you're happy with your Honda, whatever, the same with the hand drive. But now all of a sudden that you decide, you have to have a Mercedes. The price of the car didn't go up. Mm-hmm. It's your choice of what you're getting. Mm-hmm. The functionality hasn't changed. We carry better brands. And, my grandmother always used to tell me, you're better off paying more for quality than getting crap, because you replace the crap every time.
You're going to have to keep spending more to...
Now, if you're looking, I don't care who it is, you look in your closet and figure out the stuff the real quality stuff that you might have paid more for, but not paid more for because of a name, paid more for because it's actually a better piece of goods. That's still, you could be in your closet 30 years later. Mm-hmm. The stuff that was the fashion with the whim, that's done. You probably bought them 5 times over, so you actually probably paid more money. Yeah. I mean, I've got stuff on there. These shoes are like 40 years old. Who the hell knows? You know what I mean? I don't want to... So things like that. So like a lot of our stuff really hasn't gone up price. Listen, I remember a certain price. I remember like, Converse now probably 3 to 4 times what they were when I was 5. But that's 50 years ago. But other things have gone up, Yeah. But I remember, so milk is 20 times, whatever it is, Mm-hmm. What is it called? So it's all relative to what you're looking at. No, we always try to keep our prices in line. You keep your consumer, my customer, or clientele in your thoughts when you're doing, but at the same time, you do not purchase something that's a little better and a little more money for the sake that if we think it's worth it. So we're reluctant to bring in new lines. Any lines we bring in, we really look at very carefully. And my idea is when we take in a line, it's going to stay here for 20, 30, 50 years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So like, the last one that we did, wanted like a clothing line was FXD, those work pants. Mm-hmm. Now we sell about $75. It's usually about $90. But, most people are buying, $35 pants, same thing. Yeah. My guys actually like before. It's like, I don't know. It's like the number one selling pants for us now, because everyone who buys one buys it always. And I'm talking about everyone from 18 to 80. Just a great pant. But because there was something behind it, actually was a good quality pant. And once they did it, you guys want to try it, they came back to it. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something because, it had a certain 3 extra rips in it and looked cooler than the other jean that was, we don't sell jeans, fashion jeans that are $200-$300.
Right.
We sell Levi and Carhartt.
Quality.
I'll talk, when someone's expensive jeans, $70, whatever it is, as opposed. Mm-hmm. But it's probably going to outlast any of those fashion. Right. So again, that's what I'm saying. So we're about quality, longevity, and everything else the guy gets. So when somebody leaves here, no matter what they say, even if they say, I can't believe I spent that much on a certain item, at the end of the day, they're going to say, you know what? Probably was a good deal.
It's going to last for a minute.
Worth it, as opposed to buying something,
Mm-hmm. Like fast fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Throw out fashion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. What advice would you give any aspiring entrepreneurs looking to build a successful business like this one? Any advice?
It's hard work and passion. That's all it is. And understanding that you don't know what you don't know. Okay.
Yeah. I saw that on your door when I came in.
Right, because it's very true. So everyone thinks they're a genius. Nobody's a genius. To me, the bar in life is pretty low. So people who have half a brain seem like geniuses because everyone's a moron. I don't mean that sense, but everyone thinks they're brighter than they are. Mm-hmm. So you have to know to reach out to other people. And if you're not going to work, it doesn't matter what you have. It's not going to work. You're not working 40 hours a week and becoming successful.
Yeah.
You put in your 70, 80, 100 hours a week. And even when they come up, be the lawyers, the doctors, if you realize, not taking anything away from them, but they did at some point work these amount of hours and still do.
They had to
I'm
work
not saying I'd want to be any of them and everything to do it, but even when they try to become part of something. Now, on this side, too, if I was working, how can you work 40 hours a week and see what's going on? Mm-hmm. You have to also go out and see what's happening in the world. You have to listen to other people. And you can't, expect in 3 months or 6 months or 2 years that you're going to, be the boss and you have 3,000 people under you. You have to pay your dues. You have to learn. And you have to take chances. If someone can't teach you anything, then you can move on. But,
that's some good advice.
Take chances.
Yeah.
It's not always for the near-term hit, but, the extra $1 an hour that somebody may get for this job. Mm-hmm. What's it going to do for you in 2 years? What have you learned? If you could translate that into someone, instead of getting $15 or $18 an hour, now that you learned a skill, then now you're worth $25 or $30 an hour or something. The extra $1 didn't mean anything in the long run. You recouped it. You have to learn a skill. You have to give something back. You have to make yourself more valuable to whoever you are working for or working with. Mm-hmm. And you have value.
That's a good answer. Wow. I'm gonna listen to that over and over when I watch this.
No, again,
Yeah.
and I always said you don't know what you don't. I mean, I learned so much. You never know, and it's by listening.
Yeah.
Listening is more important than speaking.
Gotta be a good listener. Yes,
Right.
yes, for sure, for sure.
And that's one of my pet peeves. I tell my guys here all the time. I said I want to know something he's selling, but I also want to know something he's not selling. I want to know something that tells me something's hot. You have no idea. Like let's say I didn't know it's something that's going to be a big Dominican, Puerto Rican, or anything events happening. It's all these rappers and everybody's. This rapper love to wear military stuff, whatever it is. And they're going to be appearing here for a week. I'm exaggerating. Well, maybe we should make sure we have enough camouflage stuff beforehand, not after the fact. Why didn't you tell me? So it's like that. And, if someone tells me that, listen, this color, nobody wears this color anymore because whether it's a gang or because it means you're this or you're that, or, whoever's. All right. So maybe we want to lessen that. Sort of, but it's just a knowledge. You don't know everything.
Yeah.
In sports, also, what's becoming all of a sudden says you don't say this kid is so freaking hot. Everybody's watching this kid in whatever sport. All right. So now, what is the sport? What is the team? What is the colors? What is his deal? So you may want to go that way. But now, no one person, whatever you're an expert in, you don't know everything. So you need the additional eyes and ears.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. When you hear the last borough standing, what comes to mind? What do you think of out of the 5 boroughs?
Actually, when you said that now, probably the one that's gotten the least press.
Staten Island.
Well, Staten Island. I hate to say it. Staten Island sort of doesn't count. It's like,
Everyone says that. Everyone I interview is like, oh, Staten Island.
Because Staten Island is almost like, the joke is that, after New York, New Jersey, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not in the thoughts. I mean, you really have, it's Manhattan and Brooklyn, which actually, because Brooklyn's so much bigger, it's almost equal.
Yeah.
Then you have Queens, because Queens is a freaking UN. Queens is, diversity, and, every 30 feet there's a different neighborhood and everything. So it's interesting. Then you have the Bronx. I mean, the Bronx has got the best logistics, best location, because you can get to any place.
Yeah.
From this store, we touched across Bronx. You can be in Jersey in 5 minutes, Long Island in 5 minutes, Manhattan, Westchester. The only way you can't be is really Staten Island.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, so... so what do I think? I think that it's been neglected probably more than any other borough. Because Staten Island sort of does their own thing anyway, so they don't really care. And I think that now, though, when people speak about gentrification, there is a possibility, because people are saying that's, but they've said that for so long, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So you think it's the Bronx? Is that what you're saying?
In terms of possibly getting hurt by it? Yeah. But I'm not sure. I think it'll probably still be only more selected areas.
But not the whole thing. Yeah.
No, it's because...
Yeah. Okay.
No offense, it's some of the housing stock where it is and where the location is. It'd be like the same thing. You could say it in areas of Harlem. If it takes 10 minutes to go 5 blocks.
Yeah.
Again, and it's not Manhattan. Nobody wants to be there right now. Unless it's just the same people who grew up there for generations.
Right.
I mean, why would I don't want to move. And not knocking any neighbor. I don't want to move to 63,000 people. You can't park my car, and there's no groceries, whatever it is. So it takes a while. When people move out of here, or people have come to the Bronx because better performance, everything is.
Yep.
But you really see, so if there's a supermarket there, I'm good for
Yeah.
That's without that,
the
there's certain
accessibility
things.
to certain amenities,
and to public transportation, right? So that's what comes,
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing for me. Wherever it was. I want to know how, when I fly often for different places, and I'll go anywhere in the world, but I always tell them, I've said it in Brooklyn, but I just go, I'll go anywhere, but I'm not taking 2 planes, a bus, and then a borough to get somewhere. I'll meet those guys. I said, I'll meet you guys like in Mexico. I said, I'll meet you anywhere you want in Mexico City or anything. But it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And listen, I've been to crazy places, but yeah. So it's the same thing here in a daily thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bronx is great because it's easy to get around. That's what it comes down to.
Okay. So, a fun fact about the store, I didn't know that the original sign outside has been the original sign forever.
As long as I recall, the sign's been
never changed?
No, so if it's, people always want to ask about the sign.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's 98 years old or if it's at least 60, put it that way, or 60 plus.
As long as your lifespan is
right. So it's definitely one of the, And it is, noted.
It's been holding its
It's been a lot
time.
of pictures in the Bronx and different things in different books and stuff. Like, there's a book, something about the Bronx. What is it?
111 places.
Yeah. I think we're in that and some other stuff.
Yeah.
It's been pictured a lot.
Cool.
They've done movies here. They did, what movie was it then? Some of Apple TV, we did some movie. I forgot that they used the scene.
Yeah.
And they've done different things here.
Okay. Your upbringing in the Bronx, you were born and raised here.
Born in the Bronx, lived my life in Yonkers, which is 10 minutes.
Okay, well,
So
right there.
Yeah, same thing. But I mean, I spent more time in the Bronx than I was in Yonkers every day. Right.
How was it growing up in the Bronx for you?
I don't think you don't notice anything is different if it's the only environment you sort of know. Mm-hmm. So like people say, how do you compare it? I don't know. If somebody was ultra rich, they may not even think they're ultra, if everyone around them was ultra rich.
Yeah.
If someone is ultra poor and everyone else is ultra poor.
They don't see the difference.
And but you still play the games, whatever. Nobody notices it. It's only when there's a real differential. Mm-hmm. So what I was used to, listen, during the late 70s, it was definitely worse. Mm-hmm. The gangs and everything that.
The burnings.
The burn and the gangs and just the attitudes and social injustice. Mm-hmm. But besides that, I don't know. I think it's gotten better. Yeah. Listen, I don't care who you are or where you are. You always gotta have some people who are not the most pleasant, or you'd rather not deal with. And I don't care where they are on their station of life or age. People are people. 99% of the people here are great. I get a kick out of them. They get a kick out of me. And well, people like it or not, here you don't have to be so PC correct. So, listen, we make fun of everybody. A tall guy, a short guy, white guy, it's like anything else. When I go there, I think it's nice. It's it's the meaning behind it. You don't want to listen to me. But if listen, I rub guys' bellies all the time. I ask them when the baby's still, and they know I'm doing it for fun. You're not going to do it to somebody who's real sensitive. Yeah. But they crack up. Yeah. And the same thing, they'll say something to me, because they'll know, remember when you had red hair, you're an old man. I don't care. It's funny. Yeah. As long as, it's done in a good way, I think it's funny. If you can't laugh at yourself, you got issues. Yeah. You should never knock anybody for whatever reason, but to be able to, and that's like you have to be able to laugh at yourself. You can't take it, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But yeah, listen, seriously, if not 98% of the people are awesome. Yeah.
Okay. I always ask everyone that I talk to, like, how was your upbringing in the Bronx? And I get all different types of answers. So I always just ask, because everyone has a different, different areas, different experiences, different ages, different time frames. And,
like a lot of prejudice are based upon one incident or someone telling them something. They never even met someone of that, ethnicity or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And they're like, what are you talking about? Well, my cousin's cousin got mugged by somebody who was this. Dude, seriously? Yeah. It's like in the old days, every time there was a criminal activity committed by anyone who's Spanish, they blamed it on Puerto Ricans. The only thing they ever knew was Puerto Ricans 30 years or 40 years ago. They know there's freaking 30 different guys here.
Yeah, there's so many different.
No, it's like, dude, seriously?
Yeah.
So, you feel bad with that. That's the biggest issue. Here, it's like, and that's the one thing actually I do really like a lot about here. Yeah. It's just that you get everybody that's different. It's sort of funny.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That was all I had for you. Thank you.
I'm not a big believer in all vanilla. I don't want to see every freaking person looking the same. Seriously.
I get it. Yeah. Well, thank you for speaking with me.
I thank you. You're great.
Thank you.
Let me know how this comes out.
Yeah, of course.